Hello, this is Matthew Robert Payne and this is Tolu Sarah Johnson, and together this is a book called Reframe Heaven, and this is chapter 14.
How do you know, Mario? Yes, it is chapter 14 and is the start of part 4, which is the structure of heaven. This is where heaven becomes real. Well, I'll probably be leaning more on Matthew and the saint, but I will tell you what I know so far. And chapter 14 is this is where you discover their realms, not one layer, but many dimensions of experience. Well, I guess by now you guys will know that my understanding of heaven was really lame. It was like really, really bad. I was heavily ignorant about what heaven involves. And I guess a lot of people that are reading this book might be the same. And I remember seeing a book on Amazon about heaven, and I was so glad. Oh, it's going to tell me about heaven. When I opened the book was just telling you what was in the Bible. I'm like, what's the point? I want the real story. I've seen this already in the Bible. I want to know what heaven looks like. But of course, in my conversation with Papa, I began to get a glimpse of what heaven is. I wouldn't say I know everything now, but at least I'm not ignorant either. So, because we've always imagined heaven to be a simple one place, one level, one shared experience where you worship God all day, everyone together seeking the same things, living the same way. But Papa said to me, he said, Tolu, heaven is not one layer, it is vast, it is structured. And I'm thinking, structured in what sense? And it dawned on me that if you're on earth and that is structured to a level, why will heaven not have a structure in the way that is relatable to us, in the way we live now? Why will heaven has to be the opposite of your experience on earth? And heaven is layered, not just a destination, but dimensions. This is where everything expands. Heaven is not one space, it is not one environment, one identical experience. I think that even country, state, town, city, all of those things in heaven. And it is made of realms. That one I was so surprised when I heard of the realms. For a long time, Matthew used to hammer on the seven realms. And I think for this book as well, it might be easier just to stop at the seven realm. But imagine that heaven has got many dimensions, many levels, many experiences, and they are all within the same heaven. And each realm reflects something, not status, not superiority, but maturity, alignment, depth of relationship. And I think this is what we need to separate. On heart, art is about status, about superiority, about I'm better than you. But heaven is more about the more mature you are spiritually, not how religious you are, not how many years you spent in church. So we need to rectify that. You can be a Muslim and still end up in higher realm. So it's more about alignment to God's commandment, to Jesus' parable. That's what alignment to the way Jesus thinks, to the way Jesus does things, the depth of your relationship, how you've been able to sow love into other people's life, how you've been able to live your purpose. That determines your realm. And I'm so grateful to God that God made it that way. Because if it was about how long you've been in church for, how many times you've been present in church, how many offering, whatever, maybe we'll have the wrong people in higher realms in heaven. But heaven knows how they've structured it, and God knows the criteria that He's after. And Papa has revealed to us, yes, the seven primary realms. Each one is distinct, it is intentional, it is reflective of your spiritual journey. And do you know another thing I've come to understand? The higher you are in the realm, the more of a servant leader you are supposed to be. As you go higher, you're expected to serve more. You're not expected to be bossing people around. It is the opposite direction it happens in heaven. No one serves us more than Jesus does. No one serves us more than the Holy Spirit and Papa does. They own the heaven. They can decide to have Lord over it. But of course, what makes you grow is way, way different. And realm one, of course, is the entering point. Maybe I wish heaven had something we call foundation. Like in UK, when you want to start school, the first level you start is reception. Reception is where they're just getting you ready. Okay, And then you go to year one. So maybe the reception of heaven is paradise. I don't know. Or maybe heaven needs to have a reception. But I know that heaven has got a one. And that is the entry point. That's where most people in the church begin, which is really sad. It is not most people over the world, but most people in the church especially. And you might be wondering why. Because you've clinged onto religion. You do not have a relationship. You've made religion replace relationship with God in your life. But Papa said this several times, irrespective of the realm you are, a lot of people are happy. They are happy they made it in heaven. So the realm is vibrant, is familiar, is comforting for people. It's filled with cafes, restaurants, community spaces, familiar earthly expressions. You could still enjoy that. And it is beautiful, but it's also, that realm one is a starting point because many here knew God. Many in realm one, of course, they know God to a certain extent. They believe in God, but they need to build that. But they never pursued deep intimacy. They never pursued purpose. They never pursued transformation. Even though you've heard about God, even though you believe in Him, that doesn't hand you automatically a higher realm in heaven. And of course, realm 7, that's the depth of the maturity. At the other hand, are those who live in deep alignment. This realm is home to people like Moses, Abraham, David, Apostle Paul. And of course, if you want to be able to rub shoulders with those people, you have to have a level of maturity to be able to communicate to them. So life in heaven is different. It's not casual. It's not surface level, but of course, it's deeply focused, deeply intimate, deeply aware for people that are in that top realm. And I know Papa said, Tolu, those who pursue me deeply live deeply with me, which basically means if you pursue God deeply, you will be able to have that continuous relationship with Him. And there are realms beyond the 7. There are higher realms because heaven doesn't just stop there. This is where it becomes even more profound beyond the 7. There are higher realms 8 to 21 or more. I don't know where it ends, but this dimension of deeper revelation, of greater understanding, of closer proximity. And I guess there's no ending when it comes to growth. And one most important thing for you to know, which I've heard, is the mountain of the Lord is in realm 21. And this is where God dwells. The deepest encounters happen there, not accessed casually, but not entered randomly as well. So it's something that you have to enter with intention because you build a relationship with God. And the good thing is you don't need to be a Christian, you don't need to go to church to be able to get to this. And sometimes the movement between realms is people can be stuck in one realm. And they're stuck because, of course, they fail to grow. Some people have been in realm 1 all their life, but because their needs are being met, they don't find the need to grow because the more closer you are to God, the more responsibility you carry as well. And of course, you have to share in His suffering if you're really, really close to Him. But if you desire hunger, if you pursue God, you will continue to grow. It's available for everyone, but not everyone chooses it. Some remain where they are, like I said, and not because they cannot grow, but because they are comfortable, they are content with where they are. So I hope that as you guys continue to read this book, you can really understand that in heaven you will be surrounded by people who understand you, by people who reflect your level, by people who share your depth of experience. So heaven is somewhere I'm looking forward to because here on earth, I don't really have friends apart from Matthew, Gabriel, and Benjamin. And the reason why I don't have friends is because I cannot communicate what I really, really want to communicate with them, what is really, really important to me. I can't communicate it to them because they don't understand, they don't get it. So because of that, I rather refrain from friendship. But I'm looking forward to heaven where I'll be able to be surrounded by people with like-minded, and we can discuss about heaven, and I can really sit at the feet of God and understand him at much of a deeper level. Because for me, the greatest reward is him. It's not all the things that come, all the flashy things that come with heaven. It's fine to have all of those, but for me, my greatest reward is to be able to sit at the feet of God and speak to him and listen to him, and of course, fellowship with him at a deeper level. So I will pass you now to Mario. Thank you.
Okay, so many people assume when they get to heaven, it'll have restaurants and cafes and places to enjoy yourself, and they think like like the idea of the car wash. They It's a similar thought to most people, but like that idea of the car wash is something that is thought of by people. People assume that everyone will be in heaven in the same realm, in the same place. So people think when they get to heaven, they'll be able to walk up to Moses and ask him questions, and walk up to King David and ask him questions. They've got no realization that Moses probably not going to enjoy talking to you. Moses or King David or someone who sacrificed their whole life for God probably got nothing in common with you. You haven't got similar stories. There isn't a similar track. There isn't a similar pattern in your life. Nothing for them to really talk about in any depth because you really haven't done anything with your life when it comes to Christ. So all the entertainment, there's entertainment in Rome 21 too, but all the cafes and the restaurants in Rome 1, all the places are in the same place. For instance, uh, all the cafes and restaurants are in Rome 1 where everyone can experience them. But if someone from Rome 7 comes to Rome 1 to a cafe, the people in the lower realms can't see them. Just like you've got a guardian angel in your life at the moment and you can't see your guardian angel, he's in another realm. He's in your living room, he's in your house, he's in your bedroom, he's traveling wherever you travel, but you can't see him because he's in another realm. And that's what the realms are like in heaven. When you have qualified for realm 7, all the people you see are realm 7 people. When you're in realm 6, all the people you see are realm 6 people. I hope that's easy for you to understand. But heaven places you around people that you'll get along with, that you'll enjoy the company of. So uh, there's different criteria that allow you to be in different realms. There are different three criteria that allow you to grow through the realms. The three criteria are: did you fulfill your life's purpose? Are you doing your life's purpose? Are you intimate with Jesus? And are you transparent with the way you interact in life? If you have two out of those three, you may be in a higher realm, but there's very few people uh, that are intimate with Jesus. A famous Christian speaker, Nancy Cohen, says that only 10% of Christians are interested in intimacy with Jesus. There may be a lot of people that give face value to that say that they're interested in growing close to Jesus, but only 1 in 10 of them are prepared to put in the work that it takes to become close to Jesus. So if you look at that figure, only 1 in 10 interested in intimacy with Jesus, well, only 1 in 10 would achieve that and be close to Jesus, which means 9 out of 10 people are in realm 1 when it comes to the Christian faith, and that's why they're there. The word Tolu was hinting at is that Christians, let's just talk about Christians, but Christians become complacent in realm one. It's like it's been explained before in our conversations. It's like if you always wanted to go to Hawaii on a holiday. Hawaii was your favorite destination in the world. And imagine you won a competition which allowed you to get a house in Hawaii and get a job in Hawaii. If you moved to Hawaii, you'd be happy. That would be your dream destination, and you wouldn't be trying to get anywhere else. You'd be happy just to settle down in Hawaii, your favorite place in the world. And that's all Christians really aim for, is to get to heaven. So when they actually get to heaven, they don't want to do anything. They don't want to do any work. They don't want to progress in intimacy with Jesus. They're happy where they are, so they become complacent. And we know that a lot of marriages break up because one of the partners become complacent. They that selfishly become used to the other partner, and they stop giving, they stop participating in growth in the marriage. So there's seven realms that that people have houses. Realm seven has places where only realm seven people have houses. Realm six has places where that they have houses in realm six. I don't particularly. I haven't spent hundreds of hours in heaven, walking around heaven. I've just been to certain places in heaven, in my mind and in my intellect. But the seven realms, if you look at it like an elevator, uh, the realm seven goes up to realm seven, and then there's a mezzanine floor, and then you walk across realm seven floor, and then there's a bank of elevators from 8 to 21. And so you can mature into realm 14 or realm 15. But when you get to the maturity level of realm 21, then you can come out of the elevator, and then you're in the mountain of the Lord, and you can meet with God personally. So, yeah, if you start in realm 8, your goal is to become realm 21 so you can meet personally with God in his own house. Um, it says in the Bible that in those days, someone will take hold of a Jew, and the Jew will take him to the mountain of the Lord. So the only way to God's private house is to know someone in realm 21 and for them to take you there, or do you qualify yourself? So, it really comes down to intimacy, living your purpose, and your transparency. And certain things can delay you if you're not participating in those three different areas. So I hope you enjoyed that.
Thank you, Matthew. So we would like to hand over to a saint in heaven to probably take us a little bit in their journey of how they come to be where they are. So I would love Michael Jackson to speak to this chapter.
So when I got to heaven, I was in a lower realm, and in order to progress in heaven, you've got to have those three attributes. You've got to be further doing your purpose. You've got to be intimate with Jesus, and you've got to be transparent. And I didn't have a problem being transparent, and I didn't have a problem doing my music. But I didn't have a tremendous intimate relationship with Jesus on earth. And so that's what I had to grow in heaven. And over the years, I did music and recorded good songs in heaven, and showed that I was able to transition from writing rock songs and pop songs to actually worship songs and contemporary songs about relationships with God. And so I did that. After a time, I was trusted and got given a job to be like a music teacher in a school for young children, and I really appreciated that. And I did that well. And then I continued growing until I got to realm 7 and started meeting with God, and God become a personal friend. And that's another thing, you don't really meet face to face with God too often unless you're in realm 7. You become on his level. You've heard the cliche, I'm not at his level. And that's similar to what the realms are like in heaven. You may know about God, you may have heard about God, you may sing songs about God, but unless you're at his level, you can't really communicate with him in a deep and meaningful way. So I kept on pursuing music, becoming better at music. I kept on doing the roles and the purpose that God had for me, and I kept on being transparent in my music and all my dealings with people. And over the years, I got promoted and promoted, and now I'm able to meet with God face to face, and I have a good relationship with God. If you're interested, Matthew's got 9 books on my life. Michael Jackson Speaks from Heaven. If you just look up Michael Jackson and Matthew Robert Payne on Amazon, you'll find the books, and they're numbered. And so I hope that you can understand that it takes more than getting to heaven. You're going to arrive at a different place in heaven, a more elevated place in heaven, if you work on your intimacy with Jesus while you're on earth and develop spiritual maturity. And if you find out your purpose on earth, which not a lot of people do, and you work in your purpose and do a really good job of doing what you were born to do, and that'll take you to a good place in heaven.
Thank you, Michael. So, to close the reframe for this chapter, heaven is not one flat experience. It is made of realms, layers of growth, dimensions of understanding, like other people have said, spaces of belonging, from the familiar to the deeply intimate to the height of encounter. And you're not forced. It's something that you have to intentionally be aligned to. And when you begin to see that, heaven becomes more real than ever, not distant, but vast, intentional, and waiting to be explored. God bless.
God bless you all. Have a good day.